is a presentation of Blakesley Sports Media. Welcome to BSM Live. Here's your host, Stephen Blakesley.
Well, we want to welcome you in here to episode number 7 of Blakesley Sports Media Live, and going to take this opportunity to let some people start to log on before we get started with all of our content today. And as always, as you're logging on to our show, please comment and tell us where you're tuning in from, and also what race you're going to be heading to this weekend. There's a lot of races on our radar. We're going to be talking about that here in just a few moments on Blakesley Sports Media Live. On today's program, we have a recap of the Outlaw Nationals from Plaza Park. That's Keller Auto Raceway. So the last 2 weeks, we've been talking all about Keller Auto Speedway at Hanford, and now we moved over to Keller Auto Raceway for the Outlaw Nationals. So we're going to be talking about that event. We have interviews with the winners Corey Day and Emerson Axum. So excited to bring those to you guys today. And then we also have our interview with Austin Herzog to preview this weekend's season opener at Madera Speedway, $5,000 to win for the Madera Pro late models. So looking forward to that one. We're expecting about 35 pro late models, close to 20 junior late models, and about 10 bandoleros. It's going to be a must-see event. There's also some other big events going on this weekend that we're going to talk about as well. I want to say hello to Jason Taylor, tuning in from Roy, Washington. Welcome aboard here to Blakesley Sports Media Live. Also, big hello to Dan Myrick from the CVMS. And we'll be talking a little bit about the event they're going to have out there at the Kern County Raceway Park in just a few moments. We also have our Winner's Circle segment coming up once again here on Blakesley Sports Media Live. Big hello to everybody that is tuned in so far. And let's just dive right into it. We got some awesome video footage this weekend from the Outlaw Nationals. Want to thank Bubby Morse and the whole gang at Visalia's Plaza Park. Also got the opportunity to do some announcing there as well. We have some post-race interviews with the non-wing and wing winners from Plaza Park over the weekend. And we're going to play those interviews for you right now. All right, here with Emerson Axum. We just picked up the victory here in the Outlaw Nationals at Plaza Park. And coming out of Indiana, you pick up the victory. Tell us about how your weekend went and what it means to get a victory out here.
Yesterday, we didn't have the best luck. We kind of got stuck in other people's mess, and the left rear tire rolled off in a heat race, and that definitely put us behind the 8-ball. But Jared and everyone at the shop, they worked their tails off last night and got us back here. And they had the car dialed in. Just it basically drove itself in that non-wing feature. And then in the wing feature, we didn't have clean air. It was kind of hard to pass. But I just can't thank everyone at their shop enough. Jared, Shaggy, just everyone, Jordan, just everyone at their shop, Mitchell for coming out, Ben, Colby Adams for giving us this great motor, just really everyone that made this possible. We've been racing micros for 2 years now. Just our first year we kind of started out locally, and then second year we traveled a lot more. And then our past year we kind of set the world on fire and got a shootout victory. So we're coming in this next season hot and have plans to run a midget full-time for Scott Petrie. And I can't thank Scott enough for giving me that opportunity. The tracks are the biggest thing. Just I'd never raced anywhere like this. This place is fast and with a big curve and slick right up to it, and it makes it real fun.
All right, we're here with Corey Day, who had a pretty successful weekend in the Outlaw Nationals. And tell us about your weekend. Pretty good one for you.
Yeah, last night, third race in the non-wing car, and was quick time in both classes, and then won the feature in the non-wing car, and DNF'd in the wing class because I spun out and it rolled backwards and it broke the starter in the motor. So I just pulled in because I knew we had tonight. And then tonight started 10th in the non-wing car, didn't qualify too good in that, and ran it up to 4th for my 4th time in the non-wing car, so that was pretty good. And then in the wing class, I pulled an 8. I was high point man, so I pulled the 8, of course, with my luck, and started 8th and got to the front and won.
So what does it mean to you to get a couple of wins to start out the year? We got a big year ahead of us. A great way to start off, right?
Oh yeah, it's definitely great. A lot of momentum going into the year that we know our stuff's fast, we know it's good, so I'll be comfortable competing with everyone on a week-to-week basis.
So what are your plans for this season? Where do you guys plan to race?
Everywhere we can, just as many races as possible, getting me laps in the non-wing car and the wing car in one night, running double duty, so yeah, see how that goes.
And your family's been having a lot of success lately. Of course, Keith A. Jr. running in the sprint cars and stuff. I know that's probably somewhere you want to be someday. How exciting is it just for your family, all the success you guys are having?
Oh yeah, it's cool. I mean, Keith is a great driver. He's been great in micros and kind of fell off there towards the end, but as soon as he got in the sprint car, I knew he'd definitely be good. And my Uncle Rick's a great crew chief, and he's got that thing all tuned up for him.
And what does it mean to have the backing of Driven and all their support and confidence in you?
I mean, it's great. Jake's stuff is second to none. Lineman Motorsports and motors are always great. Everything's good in these cars. It feels great to be supported by someone that's been doing it for so long.
So there's a look at the excitement out there at the Outlaw Nationals out there at Plaza Park, and kind of kicking off the micro scene for 2020 in California. And now it's time to dive into our winner's circle segment before our big interview with Austin Herzog. And the first winner that we want to talk about is Chandler Smith, who picked up the ARCA Menards Series victory out there at Phoenix Raceway, the first time the ARCA Menards Series has raced there. And that race ended with a little bit of controversy. So that one was pretty exciting. Ty Gibbs kind of dominated that event until right at the end. And Chandler Smith broke through for the victory. And then on Saturday night, we just talked to Corey Day and we just talked to Emerson Axum. What about the other kids out there at Plaza Park? Well, in the junior sprint class, Braxton Vasconcelos picked up his first ever junior sprint victory in the Outlaw Nationals. And there's those youngsters there on the podium, and he topped Delta champion Lucas Malden. And look at those little guys. You gotta love that. That's the future stars of racing right there. And then moving up, another driver who was pretty successful in the junior sprints over the years, Dalton Pereira, picking up the restricted victory at the Outlaw Nationals. So it was just awesome to be out there. Again, 4 very happy winners and some great racing. And the driver who ran in second in that event was James Andrechuk there on the left in the red driver suit. And on the right was Austin Wood, and his sister Haley was third in the Superstock race. So a couple of third place finishes for the Wood family. And then we slide over to Sunday night out there at Petaluma Speedway, and the California guys really sent a message to the rest of the country and to the ASCS competition as Mr. Excitement, Andy Forsberg, picking up the victory on Sugar Shane Golobic, the Shark Sean Becker for an all-California podium. Sam Aberteep Jr., the former ASCS standout out of Texas, is not running for ASCS points this year. So you have to go all the way back to 6th for Scott Baguki, who was and I'm probably pronouncing that wrong. I'm still getting familiar with some of the ASCS drivers. He was the highest finishing ASCS car in 6th place. So the California guys, 4 out of the top 5. And like we talked about this weekend, the big event, the $5,000 to win season opener for Madera Speedway. And one of the drivers we're going to be keeping our eye on is the Madera Nutta Pro Late Model champion Austin Herzog, who also has 6 victories in the Junior Late Model Series, and one of those drivers that worked his way up the ladder from mini cups to the late models in the junior class up to the Nutta Pro Late Models. And we got an opportunity to talk with him earlier this afternoon. All right, we're on the phone with Austin Herzog, the 2019 Nutta Pro Late Model champion, getting ready for the start of 2020 this weekend. And Austin, thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
So this is a big season for Madera Speedway. We have all these bonuses with the 5150 Race to be Drug-Free Big 3 Series, and that all gets started this weekend for $5,000 to win. How much are you looking forward to this season?
I'm looking forward to it a lot. It's been a good off season. Working on the car a lot, making a lot of improvements. So I'm pretty excited to hop back in the car, and hopefully it's a good race.
Yeah, speaking of a good race, we're expecting a lot of competition this weekend. Of course, drivers like Jeremy Doss, Buddy Shepard. What do you think it's going to take to be at the top of the mountain this year with all this competition?
It's going to take a bunch. There's always been a lot of competition here at Madera and a lot of good drivers. So it's going to take a lot of hard work and a lot of dedication this year to hopefully go for another championship.
Now, one of the things that's new this year is they made some changes on the track surface, and you guys got an opportunity to do a private test on that surface before there was a lot of rubber put down. What was that experience like?
It was pretty slick. We practiced a day after it rained also, so the track was pretty green. It wasn't very grippy at all. So I've seen some practice times from this past weekend while there's like 30 cars at practice, and times picked up a lot. So pretty eager to get out there Friday and see how the car reacts.
One of the big tenets of Madera Speedway has always been the two groove racing with the outside line, the lower line, and that makes for a lot of passing. One of the concerns a lot of drivers have brought up with the new surface is maybe the outside line may not be a real big factor early on. What do you think of that?
I think I also agree with that. I don't really see the top groove coming in too much. I mean, all the cars that I've seen, including me, have been just running the bottom and working the bottom in. So, I mean, maybe when Saturday night comes around, the top, maybe some cars will be running the top in practice, trying to break it in. So, we might try to go up there if, we're out in the front or just trying to save the car. We might go up there and try it. But I don't really think it's going to be too good up there. So I think the majority of the cars will stay on the bottom for the race.
So we're on the phone with 2019 Madera Pro Late Model Champion Austin Herzog, getting ready for the $5,000 to win season opener this weekend at Madera Speedway. And Austin, for the fans that have never been to Madera and seen what these Pro Late Models about, can you tell us a little bit about just how competitive this series is and what it's like to be a part of this series and what the fans can expect?
The fans will expect a action-packed race. Madera is a really door-to-door track. Every turn's filled with a lot of action. There's never a dull moment in a race at Madera. It's always door-to-door, hard-packed action, and it's just the track is it's small enough to where there's always cars side by side, so it's not like Kern, which I like Kern though too. There's no room for error. It's really action-packed, like I said. So it's going to be an exciting race, especially for the 5,000 opener. A lot of drivers are going to be on their toes, so it's going to be an awesome race.
And some new rules this year, of course, one of them being the body rules, and your team was one of the teams that had really pushed the envelope on that. Also some rules involving the chassis and different weights and things like that. What are some of the changes that you guys have had to make to your car?
We had to change the body, of course. We also had to change some trailing arm stuff in our car, which I'm not really too worried about. We were good with the original trailing arms and the original body, so it'll take a little bit of adjusting to get the car dialed in, but I have an awesome crew backing me, and I don't doubt that we'll get it dialed in really fast.
It seems like every year at Madera, we have every driver that's in the running for the points has at least one or two bad nights. Sometimes I like to call them mulligans, like you're playing golf or something. How important is it with the competition level to be really consistent this year?
It's huge. All the top five in the championship are so close in points by the end of the year. You got to really race at Madera smart and conservative, or you're just going to tear it up and you won't finish the race. So, I mean, I've had a couple past years where I break a rear end and that cost me the whole championship in just one night. So, you just got to be really careful out there and really conservative and take care of your equipment.
What did it mean to you to represent your family with all your family's success at Madera and to go out there and win the championship last year?
It means a lot. I want to keep adding to, the generations. My grandpa has so many championships, and so does my dad. So it's pretty cool to keep it going, and hopefully we can just keep staying consistent with these championships and just keep bringing them in. It would be really exciting to get another one this year, but like you said, the competition is so stiff at Madera. It's going to be pretty challenging, but I think we can get another one under our belt.
A couple of new things for you this year. Number one is you guys are a semifinalist for the Kawicki Driver Development Program, and we've always had at least one Madera representative in that program. So what does it mean to you to have that opportunity? And I guess we'll find out in a couple weeks if you make the finals.
It's an awesome opportunity. I'm really happy that we are able to make the semifinals, and it would really be cool to carry on Alan's legacy. And he's a really inspiring person. So to keep that going, in memory of him would be awesome. Jeremy Doss, carried on last year, and he did a really good job with that. So hopefully I can do the same and carry on the legacy just as good as Jeremy Doss did.
And of course, it takes some good sponsorship to be able to be competitive at Madera. And I understand you've got a couple of your sponsors lined up for this year. Tell us who's going to be helping you out this season.
We got a couple new ones. We have Superior Door, Richard Herzog Construction, Best Cal Plumbing, Ferguson. All those guys are a huge help, and I'm glad that we can bring on some new sponsors on board for this year.
Well, it all starts this weekend. $5,000 to win for 100 laps of Nut Up Pro Late Model Racing at the Madera Speedway, and you can count on the 2019 champion to be in the mix. Austin Herzog, good luck this weekend, and thanks for coming on the show.
Awesome. Thank you for having me. It was great to be on.
All right, that's your 2019 Nut Up Pro Late Model champion, Austin Herzog. And we had our poll up for a moment there of who you guys think is going to win the season opener for the Nut Up Pro Late Models. And they limit us to only 4 options. And that was tough for me because we left off a couple of really good drivers that we're expecting this weekend, such as Carlos Vieira and Dylan Zampa, racing Jason Aguirre, who's still looking for his first TV win as well. But of the 4 drivers we had there, it looks like Buddy Shepard is the favorite ahead of Austin Herzog, Jeremy Doss, and Matt Erickson. And it tells you a lot about how good the Madera program is going to be in 2020 when you think about how dominant Doss was last year, winning 4 of the final 5 races of the TV series, leading almost 300 laps. And he's not even the favorite on our poll. So that's pretty cool. Really looking forward to this weekend out there at the Madera Speedway. They'll be practicing on Friday from 5 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. Saturday practicing at 12:30, qualifying at 2:30. And then the first of the preliminaries is at 4. And they have a C main tentative for 4 o'clock, followed by some heat races, a $1,500 to win B main. And that's for the drivers that don't transfer. So they'll pull the top 4 out and then have a shootout for $1,500 to win. And then at 6 o'clock, opening ceremonies out there at Madera Speedway. And then we go right into the racing with the junior late models for 70 laps. And I see everyone unanimously has selected a series veteran to pick up the win this weekend. Well, it's kind of hard sometimes with the junior late models to kind of decipher who's a veteran and who is a rookie. But I would rank someone like Grant Thompson with only 1 start in the series, probably in that rookie category. You also have some drivers like Cole Brown that only have about 3 or 4 starts. Bradley Erickson is another one. Holly Clark. They don't have very many starts. We all know they're gunning for car number 89 this weekend, and that's Seth Wise, 87, Seth Wise, who picked up the victory to end the season and comes into this year as the favorite of that junior late model program. And then we'll have the Mini Cups versus Bandolero main event, the Modified Super Toto main event, and a 100-lap Pro Late Model main event. And again, we're expecting over 35 late models, so we can expect to have probably a pretty solid 26 cars in the main event on Saturday out there at Madera. Again, comment, let us know where you'll be this weekend. Here's some other races that are on this weekend's radar. We'll be keeping an eye on Kern County Raceway Park, their season opener. They'll have both the King of the West NARC sprint cars, the Center Line mini stocks, and the hard tops on the dirt, plus the NASCAR super stocks and NASCAR spec modifieds on the pavement for 1 ticket. So that's going to be a pretty exciting event. The King of the West, we've documented throughout the program, is one of our favorite series for 2020. Looking forward to that one. We have the not the fall nationals. I don't know why I put that. We have the Silver Cup at Silver Dollar Speedway. And the question mark there for the 360 guys is what's the weather going to do? So I hope they can get things in over there at Silver Dollar Speedway. And then we also have the USAC West Coast 360s will be at Peter Murphy's Keller Auto Speedway at Hanford. And they're going to run a twin 20. So if you win the first 20, you can elect to go to the rear. And if you can come through the field and win the second 20 lapper, he's going to add $1,000 to your purse. So that's going to be a pretty exciting race as well. We also have the NASCAR late model opener at Irwindale, and it'll be interesting to see what their turnout is like with Madera going on at the same time. But NASCAR late model racing opening up in the West Coast at Irwindale. Of course, the opener at Roseville is coming up way down the road, April 11th. So all the NASCAR tracks are starting to fire up. We had Vegas last week, and then we're going to have Irwindale this week. And then you got to go a little bit further, and also Kern County this week, and then you got to go a little further down the line, April 11th for Roseville. So we will be at Madera Speedway this weekend for our Madera Racing on MAV TV coverage. The next Madera Racing on MAV TV broadcast is going to be coming up next Thursday, and that is going to be the broadcast of the Donnie Large Memorial. That was an open wheel race. It was open, as they had super modifieds, sprint cars, 360s, 410s, iron blocks, aluminum, all mixed together in one big bad race around the fastest 1/3 mile in the West. And that'll be on TV in a couple weeks. I'm not on the call on that one. I was at Roseville that night, but you'll hear from Outback Andy Foster and the whole gang there for the Donnie Large Memorial. That's airing in next Thursday on Madera Racing on MAV TV, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Pacific, either one, or on the Lucas Oil Racing TV app. So again, want to thank all of our guests. Want to thank Austin Herzog. Good luck to him this weekend with all of his stuff. And we'll see if he can make it into the Kwicky Driver Development Program. He made the final 15. They're going to announce the final 7 selections at the end of the month. So good luck to him there. Also want to thank Indiana's Emerson Axum and also Corey Day for speaking with us after their big victories at Plaza Park. It's a big weekend. Things continue to heat up. I hope the weather cooperates for some of you guys out there, and we'll see you at the races.